Okay, so these are your directions on how to build your bridge side. So this is your truss. We are going to build it directly on top of this. First thing you need to do is locate your 1/4 by 1/8 pieces of wood. So that's the two thicker ones, okay? And you want to put your name on them just like you did everything else. So you're going to put your name on here. First and last name. Okay. And then we are going to tape them. We're going to measure them. So make sure you include the part that has your name on it. So we're going to line it up exactly with this line that you drew, which is why I kept telling you all it needs to be exactly 1 square tall. And then you want to make a mark where you need to cut. So we're lining it up and we are measuring it. We're going to cut it. And that pen is dead. So that one will go in the trash. Okay, we're going to try this pen. Now, this also says should be 9 inches long. So let's just measure. Is this 9 inches long? Look at that. Score 9 inches. So 9, 1. We're going to put a mark. And then we're going to take our scissors. So make sure you're using the larger scissors. Ooh, there's something stuck to it. If you don't have any, don't try to use your paper scissors because the paper scissors are really, they might break. You don't want to break them. So you're going to go ahead and just cut it just like that and then lay it down. Okay. Now the other piece needs to be 11 inches. So we're going to line it up and then we're going to double check and we're going to use our ruler. Is this 11 inches? Yes. Some of your measurements might be slightly off, so always line it up with your drawing and double check your measurements because once you cut, you can't go back. Like, you cut it, it's done. You've heard the phrase measure twice, cut once. So we're measuring with our drawing. We're also measuring with our ruler just to double check everything. So then we're going to go chop. Okay. So now that we have our spot top and bottom, and it doesn't matter name side up, name side out. We'll do name side up for now. You're going to take pieces of tape, and unfortunately all I have is blue tape here at the house. And you want it pretty skinny because we are going to tape this down in place, but we want to be able to take the tape off later. So we want it to go in between our truss marks. So we're just going to tape this down here, do like the ends and then the middle. So you can see I'm not covering up any of the lines that I drew. I'm just putting it in between because then I won't accidentally glue it down. Oh, that ripped. Okay, so we'll put a piece right here. This is why it's important that your saran wrap, your plastic wrap, is kind of tight so things don't move. So then we're going to do this middle section, and then we will do our ends of the bottom. Cutting masking tape. Okay. So make sure it's lined up with your drawing, and you put it on. What works best is if you put it on the beam, or not the beam, but you put it on the piece of wood so the wood's lined up, put it on the piece of wood, and then push down around. And you want to make sure it doesn't cover up any of your lines. Okay? So this is now secure. Like I could pick up my cardboard and my two pieces would still stay there. Now your next step is to either do the verticals or the diagonals, whichever one you want. And for this video, we're going to do the easier way, which means it's not quite as precise, but it is a little bit easier to work with for those of you who would prefer easy. Let's do the diagonals first. So according to this, I need 11 3-inch pieces for my diagonals. And we're going to line it up and just double check that this is, I'm going to mark where I want it. And this is overlapping, so it's going to sit on top of that beam, and it's going to sit on top of this one too. So we want it to go right in the middle, and let's make a mark. Now we're going to double check. Is that 3 inches? let me pick up my ruler here. So is that 3 inches? Yes, that is 3 inches. So that is exactly how long I need it to be. Okay, so we're going to cut it. And I'm going to go ahead and I need, we're going to test. Does this fit here? Yes. Does it fit here? Yes, it will. Will it fit here? Yes. Here? Yes. Like double check. Will this same size piece fit on every single one of those lines that you colored the same color? It does. Okay. Let's just double check the last one. Yes, it does. So that means I need to cut 11 of them. So I'm going to line them up, make sure the ends are lined up, and you can mark it. You can see it's marked, and then we're going to cut. So now I have 2 pieces of the same size. Now I need to do it again. So I need to line them all up, make sure they're all the same length, and we're going to make a mark, and then we're going to cut. Okay. Ooh. And make sure they're all the same length. And keep going until you have all of your pieces cut. Okay, so I have gone ahead and cut all my pieces of wood. That one's a little bit longer. Double check your measurements. Make sure they're all the same or very, very close to the same. This method does not require as much precision. So there are some of you, I expect you to do the other method because you need to, you get done quicker and you're much more precise. Some of you, we want to do this method because it's a little bit easier. It's a lot easier and you don't have to be as precise to make it work. Okay, so your next step is to put a dot of glue, come out glue wherever these beams are going to connect. So it's wherever my green beams, so my diagonals, so wherever your diagonals need to connect, we're going to put some glue. And be generous with your glue. This is one of those cases where it's better to have too much than not enough, because you don't want to have to do this over and over again. And you don't want to have to come in and be like, oh no, why didn't it stick? Okay, so you just start at one end and you lay down your beams, so your sticks. So you're going to lay it directly on top of the line that you drew. And then you're going to go to your next one and you're going to make them meet. You don't want them on top of each other right now. So then you just keep going through and you're going to place them straight on top of the lines that you drew on your board. And you keep going through until you're done. And oh look, I have another one where they're meeting. So I want them to meet. I don't want them to stack on top of each other. So they might be a little bit off at that part, but that's okay. You don't want them on top of each other at this point. And then you fill them all in. So if you have the Warren or another one that has the meeting, you want them meeting just like it is right here. Again, not on top of each other. Okay. So then let me move that one over a little bit so I can get it on there. Okay, so I've now put in all of my diagonals. How long did that take me? At this point, we are 9 minutes in, but a lot of that is because it took me a while to cut and tape. Okay, your next step is to do your vertical lines. And your verticals are going to go there. Now, if you notice, my verticals are going to actually be the ones that sit on top of another piece of wood. So this vertical, and this vertical, there's nothing else there. So we'll have to do a little work for those, but let's tackle all the rest of them. According to this, it should be 2 3/4 inches. So let me take one of my pieces of wood. Let me go ahead and line it up where I want. So I'm going to choose one of the easier ones, which is one right here. And it's going to sit on top of those other pieces that I put down. So I wanted to start there and I wanted to end here. Okay, so let me go ahead and measure. So this is, according to what I just measured, it's a little bit, it's more like 2 5/8. But, you know, it's okay if 2 3/4 is what I had measured before. Either one. This is why this method is better for those of you who aren't as precise with some of your measurements. So we'll go with the 2 3/4 because that is what I had measured. And you're going to go ahead and cut your pieces. According to this, I need 10 of those 2 3/4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all those. Okay, so I have gone ahead and cut all my pieces. Now, all of these little scraps that I have left over from when I was measuring and I did my top and I did my bottom, and I might have had some extras left over from when I cut my pieces, keep them because we are actually going to use them for a step. Now, our next step for this is to put in all of our verticals, and we're going to do the verticals that connect top and bottom to a diagonal first. So just like before, you're going to put some glue. Come out glue anytime. Okay, so we're going to put some glue here, glue here, and here, here. We're going to come back later and do that one because it doesn't connect at the top to a vertical, or to a diagonal, I'm sorry. So we're going to put this here. Okay, now our next step is just to go through and put all of our vertical lines. So we're going to just set them right on top of those diagonals we had placed earlier. Oh no. Okay. So just go through and put them on. This one's a little bit more tricky. Okay. Okay. So now I have all of those verticals on. Now I need to do the ones that are special. And the vertical will sit on top of this wood, but then there's nothing here. So we need to build up this spot and this spot and this spot 1/8 thick, which is why we have these scrap pieces, or this, we could use this piece. So we're going to put some glue down in the spots where we need to make it a little bit thicker. And we're going to go ahead and put down, basically it's like a riser, an adapter, so that it makes it thicker at that spot, so then our vertical will be able to be the same level as everything else. And try not to glue down your tape, because again, your tape needs to come off your bridge at the end. So now that we have that in place, we can go ahead and put in the glue for where our vertical needs to connect. We're just going to put these right on top. Like, oh, I forgot a spot. Don't forget a spot, Miss Greer. Okay. And then, oh, I forgot another spot. You're probably yelling at me right now through the video. Miss Greer, you forgot a spot. I forgot a spot. Okay. Then that's it. That's all you have to do for this side. Then you go put this on the table, you let it dry, and then the next day you come up and you very gently peel the tape off, because you need to do this again. Like, you're going to do this exact same process again, so then you have two sides to your bridge.